Hi, I'm Dr. John Vasudevan, part of Penn Sports Medicine, and I'm the medical director of the Broad Street Run. Let's take a moment to review some of the questions I hear the most from runners in preparation for this run. First, let's take a look at the course. The Broad Street Run starts in North Philadelphia around Broad and Fisher Streets, and it finishes this year back in the Navy Yard. Throughout the whole time, you'll be pretty much a straight line, pretty much downhill, and almost always surrounded by people who are shouting for you and supporting you along the way. As with any run, make sure to start with a nice, careful warm-up where you're not pushing yourself too hard or too fast, which may be a little bit forced upon you by the crowds. But once you get to City Hall, know that you're about at 6 miles along your 10-mile journey. That's when you should be really cooking. And then right as you get towards the end, past the stadium complex and approaching Navy Yard, remember to keep your pace nice and steady and don't push yourself too hard so you don't run into trouble right before you get home. Runners often ask me how can they prevent getting injured leading up to the race. It's important to pay attention to your body in the weeks leading up to the race to make sure you're not developing an injury that could stop you. Probably the biggest ones to be worried about are pain related to increases in mileage that you feel deep within the bones that could be concerning for a developing stress reaction or stress fracture. Also remember that some of the nagging injuries involving muscles and tendons that may have bothered you for weeks can increase as you increase the regularity and distance of your running. A big question that people are afraid to ask is, what do I do if I get injured during the race? Despite all of our preparation, sometimes we still run into pain right in the middle of race day. So it's important to realize, is this a new injury or is this just an exacerbation of something I've had before? Don't be afraid to take a few seconds to walk or even stop, stretch, and catch your breath, and listen to your body. It's amazing what a few seconds of rest can do to buy you the minutes you need to get across the finish line. What about food? What should you eat in anticipation of this race? When it comes to nutrition, a lot of it depends on you. What do you normally eat? And are you getting the energy you need for the calories you're about to expend? Oftentimes people talk about carb loading in advance. I think it's a little bit overrated because you shouldn't eat something way too outside of the zone of what you normally do. So I tell people to pretty much stick with what you've been eating. And if anything, if you're used to having some breakfast, eat about 90 to 120 minutes before the race starts and don't switch the plan on the race day. When it comes to hydration and refueling during a race, most running times that are underneath an hour only need water. Water at regular intervals that hopefully you've determined in the course of your training. Once you start approaching that 1 hour time frame on your run, start thinking about looking for an electrolyte supplement or one of those gel packs that you may be carrying with you. How about what to wear? Well, if you've been in Philadelphia like I have, the weather's been all over the place lately, and it certainly can be come race day. We have to be prepared for the fact that it may rain for part or all of the race, or that it may start cool and end warm, or the other way around. So it's really important for you to think back or have taken notes along your training about what feels comfortable for every temperature range, whether it's precipitating or not. In many cases, people need to come wearing a few different layers and be prepared to shed some layers along the way if need be. Thank goodness you finished the race. But now what do you do to recover? Well, first of all, you have to take some time to keep moving at the end of the finish line and resist the temptation to take all your selfies too soon, because you need to let your body change gears and get back into a place where you're not going to feel too lightheaded. Then, of course, rehydrate. Make sure that you are rehydrating until you're peeing clear before you decide to celebrate in any other fashion. And then finally, you have to take a little bit of protein in to help your muscles rebuild after the run. It doesn't matter if this is your first time running Broad Street Run or your 20th, whether you've run a marathon or you've only been a 5-miler or 5K runner until this point. This is your chance to celebrate the fruition of all the training you've put in. It is your efforts leading up to the race that's worth celebrating. So good luck out there, and I'll see you at the finish line.